Hi everyone, so it's November 1st, which means today we're going to be discussing my NaNoWriMo 2021 plans. Technically, there is no plan, and let's talk about it. So if you didn't know, I've been writing a novel called Seventh Virtue, which is an adult contemporary fantasy novel that I started in about May 2021. It is a spin-off of a series I've been writing for a long time. This is the first time I have ever written true speculative fiction, but particularly fantasy, and I've been having a lot of fun drafting it. I didn't initially think I would finish this book, I just started it as something fun, but I fell in love with the project over the summer, and I do plan on completing it, which is why we're working on it this NaNoWriMo. When I had initially brainstormed this book in the summer of 2019, I didn't think I was going to write it, but I was pitching it as Howl's Moving Castle meets Shrek 4, which is still really accurate despite how specific it is. So I'm gonna read the summary, which I shared recently in the photography video that I just posted a couple of days ago, where I took self-portraits inspired by this book. But this is the very loose synopsis, which is going to change because I'm adding points of view, and we'll get into that. So this is the summary of my NaNoWriMo project, aka Seventh Virtue. After being tormented by nightmares of his ex-boyfriend Lonan, Harrison seeks a magical intervention from old friend Reeve. When she reveals she and Lonan are members of the Seventh Roost, one of 7 magical families that coincide with the 7 virtues and 7 capital sins, she also unveils another secret. Lonan is part virtue, the immortal bird that represents each house, and her family is holding him captive in hopes of extrapolating his power. Harrison must choose to continue life as he knows it or rekindle relationships he thought he'd left behind to save someone he once loved. Very much tea, it is so dramatic and I love it. So what are my plans with this book for NaNoWriMo? So my initial plans are to add 2 points of view this NaNoWriMo. How much can I do? We'll see. The only point of view character that narrates Seventh Virtue at the moment is Harrison. I've been writing in Harrison's point of view since Mothwork, so for about 2 years now, so it just seemed like the natural step for him to be the narrator of Seventh Virtue. However, I realized this world is so grand and this story is so large that I was missing out on key information and key scenes that were in Lonan's point of view and Reeve's point of view. We also have another main character named Foster, but I don't have plans yet to add chapters, though I think he will get a couple of chapters throughout the book that has more to deal with like his side quest of finding his family again, but he's not super relevant in this video, so let's just talk about Reeve and Lonan. So in Seventh Virtue, Reeve and Lonan belong to the same family. They share a mother. Their family is the Seventh Roost, which coincides with the Seventh Virtue, which is humility. On the other hand, even though each family follows whatever virtue it is that they're named after, they can also struggle with the opposite sin, so for them it's pride. The Seventh Roost is in shambles right now because they're all power hungry. Lonan and Reeve's wild family have currently taken Lonan off to the side, and what we were missing is we didn't get to see Lonan at all, and because of that I felt we should get his point of view, especially because Reeve and Lonan's family super wild, and it would be super entertaining to see some of the characters that I had brainstormed years and years and years ago and who haven't been in the books for a long time. So with that said, we are giving Lonan chapters, which is great. We're basically rewriting Mothwork and Feeding Habits, but Seventh Virtue edition. It's basically Mothwork and Feeding Habits, but with magic. Reeve, on the other hand, is not with her family. She's very estranged. She doesn't want anything to do with them. She misses her brother because they're extremely close, but unfortunately she can't really do much to help him until Harrison, who is our main narrator, comes to her asking for help because he's having nightmares of Lonan and doesn't know what to do. So I've written very short log lines for what I'm hoping to achieve in a couple point of view chapters for both Lonan and Reeve. This NaNoWriMo, we're not giving Harrison any more point of view chapters for NaNoWriMo. I'll probably resume his point of view after. So for Lonan's point of view, Lonan, forced into being his family's on-call assassin, trades his sanity to protect someone he loves, which is basically the exact plot of book 3, except that was Reeve. So just swap out Lonan's name for Reeve. Basically what I'm doing is I'm taking a major plot point from book 3, which was that Lonan had hired Reeve to do that exact on-call assassin job, and I'm throwing it back in his face. It's basically karma. And Reeve's logline is, when Reeve is confronted by an old friend, she must reconnect with painful memories of the past. So we get to see a lot of tea is basically what I'm saying, because I was missing the drama. There was so much content especially in Reeve's past, and I would say Harrison and Reeve are the main characters of this book, that we weren't getting to see. I had even started to sort of head hop into Reeve's point of view just for fun to see some of her point of view and what she had gone through, and then I realized it would be even more fun to give her her own chapters so it's less through Harrison's lens of perceiving her memories. With that said, I don't have a particular goal for NaNoWriMo. Of course, the November NaNoWriMo, the typical month, is 50,000 words. I am a full-time student who is pursuing her creative writing degree. I definitely can't write 50,000 words in a month because I have tons of other writing to be doing for school. It would be great actually just to hit 5,000 words in comparison to 50,000 because I haven't written Seventh Virtue all that much since I started my new semester. So that's my goal really, is just to write at least one Lonan point of view chapter this November and then one Reeve point of view chapter this November. I was doing planning yesterday on the magic systems of these books because that's important to Lonan's job, which hopefully I can figure out more of and share more with you when I actually figure it out. It's just because I'm a pantser, I have no idea what's actually happening. So stay tuned for an update video on Seventh Virtue because things are about to change. I will try to hit the 1667 word mark because with Seventh Virtue, drafting for me is extremely quick. Usually I average about 800 to 1,000 words per writing sprint, so it'd only be about 40 minutes of writing a day, which I think I can squeeze in. However, there are certainly no promises that I'll actually stick to that daily word count, especially as I'm getting to finals. But that's the fun thing about NaNoWriMo. I feel like you can really customize it to what you want to achieve, and I would love to write more of Seventh Virtue this month. I don't really care how many words I get in. I already have the first sentence for each chapter for Lonan's chapter and then Reeve's chapter, so it should be pretty smooth sailing from here. I am currently filming my NaNoWriMo vlog, so that should be up at around the end of November. But those are my general plans for NaNoWriMo this year. They're not very set in stone. I was trying to do some Preptober work. I had hoped that I would be able to outline many chapters before November started, but it's currently November 1st, and I literally only barely outlined Lonan's chapter and Reeve's chapter. And yes, I did outline them despite being a pantser because I needed some direction. They'll probably change magnificently by the time I get to drafting, but I just wanted a slight direction to go, especially if I'm trying to hit that word count. Here are some current stats on Seventh Virtue and where I hope the book will be by the end of the month. So Seventh Virtue is currently 51,545 words. The book has 9 chapters that are in Harrison's point of view. That is chapter 1, which is Play Again, chapter 2, Memory Palace, chapter 3, Hang Dry, chapter 4, Fear 4, chapter 5, Entry Point, chapter 6, Wax Figure, chapter 7, Fever Dream, chapter 8, Close Friend, and chapter 9, Blood Relative, which I have not finished yet. So by the end of this month, I would like to have written at least 5,000 words. So I'd like to be at about 56,000 words by the end of November. I would also like to have written 2 new chapters, one in Reeve's head and one in Lonan's. And that is literally all I'm planning to do this November. I do have a playlist for Seventh Virtue if for some reason you want to see what I'll probably be listening to during NaNoWriMo, which I will link in the description. But other than that, I want to know what you're working on this NaNoWriMo. What's your project? What's the genre? If you want, share a little bit about it in the comments. But for now, I'm wishing you all the best during this super chaotic month, and I will see you in another video. Bye!